here from BWCflies. I just need to tie up some Flattie Donny Brascos in the white and the pink for the shop. So while I'm doing it, I thought I'd film it and then we'll have this as a bit of an ongoing tutorial series. So in the vise I have put a Tiemco 811S in the size 2.0. I've loaded up my bobbin with 210 denier white thread. So here we go. First of all, I'm just going to make a nice base of thread to around about halfway down that hook shank. I want to keep that hook shank relatively bare for the flatties. So all the way back down to the eye, and then we're going to come back around about 2 eye lengths. Clip that little tag off. So the first part is that I need to put my dumbbell on, and I've chosen medium-sized lead dumbbells from Hareline. So they're the double pupil version. I kind of like the pink eye with the white pupil, or the white pupil and black, or white iris and black pupil for this one. It just matches the head the head colour we're going to use. A couple of cross wraps, a couple of under wraps throughout there. Make sure that the dumbbells are square and level to the hook shank. So you can have a bit of a look at that. A nice amount of tension on these thread wraps here will help hold it in place. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, just going to cover this up a little bit. I'm going to make a nice platform of thread here for my materials to start to be bound on. Alright, that's enough. There we go. So we're looking just like that at this point. Okay, first part is I need to put on some rabbit. This is barred rabbit from Hareline. But what I want to do is I need to measure where I'm going to tie it in. I want to have around about two and a half hook shank lengths of tail. I also need to pierce the skin with this hide. So we're going to pop that through there, like so, until it pops through. I just need to take it out of the vise so I can work this around and take him out. I'll work that around so it sits right up behind that dumbbell before I tie it on. Okay, let's pop him back in. There we go, do him back up. Rabbit fur, it likes to stick to your hands. Okay, I'm just going to pinch that down, holding the hide in that place and tightening down with my thread. That way it's going to sit in that little slot right behind the dumbbells. Now I'm still leaving plenty of space there because I need that for the brush that we're going to use for the head in a little bit later on. And underneath there you can see that the hook has pierced the hide pretty much in the center. And then from here we're just going to trim that down like so. That one may be a smidgen long. Just take him backwards just a little bit. Alright. So, there we go, we'll put him back in the centre. Have my dumbbells on, have my 6mm barred white rabbit strip in place. I do like to fill out the underside of this fly with some fin raccoon. So I have some nice white fin raccoon here. Ooh. I take a generous bunch. I leave all the guard hairs pretty much in this. We'll clip that off. Get rid of that unnecessary bulk from down on the bottom. I want to tie this in so you can see the guard hairs are there. It's got a bit of a nice taper to it. same method, pinch that material so it stays in place and bind it down. If you've got some fine pointed scissors, you might need to get into this little area here just to cut all that off. Left a few behind. There we go. Okay, and I also like to clean them up just by binding that down. Rightio, we're looking pretty good here at this point. Her next part is to add just a little bit of flash down the flanks. So everyone will have Krystal flash in their kit, or they should have. So I'll just grab one length, take it over the back of the thread and bind it down the side of the hook shank. Now these I want to trim around about the length of those guard hairs. So that gets rid of that one. And one down the other side. So I'll just grab another piece. There we go again. Wrap it around, bind it in, and cut it off around about the same length. There we go. That's pretty much the body complete. We've got our underbelly. So just remember that this fly will ride hook point up with the weight of those dumbbells down. So I just like tying this fly this way. It gives me a lot of room up here to manipulate my hands and have plenty of space. Okay, so time for the head or the brush. So for the brush we use the Enrico Anadromus brush in the Fuscia colour. This one is. So this is 2.5 inch, already has a fair bit of flash built into this, so that's why I don't put too much extra flash down the flanks. So just remember when you're cutting your brush wire just to use your oldest type scissors. So I'm going to bind this in right behind the dumbbell. This is 2.5 inches wide. There we go, nice platform. So the width is the full width across, and made on like on a stainless steel cord wire, or like a stainless steel wire. All right. So what I like to do here is manipulate all of the fibre to the rear of the fly, so to speak. And then the best way to do this is just to take it slow, and on each wrap I'll have a dubbing brush nice and handy, and I'm just going to pop those fibres out as I work my way forward. We want to wrap this right up to behind those dumbbells at this point. Okay, so thumb and forefinger holds the material in place. Dubbing brush pops them out, always maintaining tension on that stainless steel core. Same deal. There we go. Thumb and forefinger pull the materials out of the way. Brush it out. If you take your time doing this, you will use all of the materials available on the wire. You won't have them caught underneath and trapped. Comb them out, puff them out. All right, should be able to fit in another, at least one, if not two. There's one more there. And then we're right up behind this dumbbell now, so that should fill this one out. So there we go. Let's keep the tension just there. Pop all of those out, and at this point in time I'm going to turn the fly over in the vise. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm kind of prepping the tie-in by pulling those fibres back, and I have a pretty prominent pretty prominent area there where all of the fibres here are moving backwards, and the bit that I'm preparing to cut off is already moving forwards. So at this point, right there, I'm going to bring that in the centre of the eyes. Keep turning it around, still maintaining tension. A little bit of thumb and forefinger work here, so tension on here, and you will be able to pick up that all of the fibres that I want to use are still pointing toward the rear of the fly. So pinch and bind that down nice and tight. Okay. Now remember just to use your old scissors. So I've got an old pair here that I'm just going to clip that stainless steel wire out and get that out of the way. Alright, it's looking pretty good. We'll get rid of some of those, push them all back, and at this point I just need to create a nice little bullet type shaped head before I whip finish it off and apply some resin. There we go, that's looking pretty good. Okay, time for the whip finish tool. So make a little triangle, do a few wraps. I like to pull my whip finishes tight underneath of the dumbbells. So there's one there. Let's go again. 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, and tight underneath the dumbbell there. Fine point scissors again come in handy at this point. I'm just going to knock that thread off. It's good. The eye's looking really clean. We don't have to do too much cleanup work with this. Just give it a little brush out before we apply the resin. So there's no fibres in my way there. That head is clear. Okay, so a little bit of resin application. I always put some on those threads that are underneath of the dumbbell, and just touching the material or touching that brush, coat that as over. Same deal, just touching that brush so it grabs it. Alright, that's enough. Time to cure. There we go. Now we all know that flathead love white and pink. This is a cracking fly for this time of year when the bait fish are up on the flats, and it's a nice meaty offering that's going to move some of the bigger models, but the little models will also have no dramas inhaling it. So there we go. Curing's done. That's it. I fish this on usually on an 8 weight, 16 pound tapered leader. Tie some up and give them a go over the flats. Thanks for watching, guys.